Street are a vibrant and dynamic part of our town, with historic roots in the town's earliest days. These are the neighborhoods and the small streets off of Main Street between Stop and Shop and Hoover Line. Residents of these neighborhoods have been contacting the town planner and the planning board for years now to voice their increasing concerns with the existing zoning laws that hinder the town's mission, negatively encroach on their neighborhoods, and threaten the safety of pedestrians and drivers. In response, the planning board is bringing Article 11 before you for your consideration this evening. This proposed zoning amendment is only a first step, but an important one, to protect these neighborhoods from the negative effects of adjacent redevelopment on Main Street. I will address why the planning board feels this is a critical step for town meeting to take, and town planner, Brian Zacchelli, will then address the technical zoning component of the article. In the summary of the Master Plan Community Survey completed this fall by the town's consultant, J.M. Goldson, she notes that the strongest theme to emerge was residents' desire to preserve neighborhood character. Nearly all participants, 99%, which is nearly 1,000 individuals completing the survey, identified maintaining neighborhood character as a priority for Winchester. Preserving neighborhood character is and always has been a priority for the planning board, which goes to the heart of why we are seeking this change in the zoning, answering the legitimate concerns that the residents at the northern end of Main Street have about the impact on their neighborhood's character. In the spring of 2000, town meeting voted to rezone North Main Street with two general business districts, GBD2 and GBD3. The rezoning eliminated industrial use, allowed existing commercial use to continue, introduced a provision to allow mixed commercial and residential use, and it allowed exclusively residential use. While the intention then, more than 18 years ago, was to encourage commercial development, the full effect, as it has played out, was not fully anticipated in that moment. Since then, the market has delivered mostly residential development and essentially a one-to-one replacement of commercial units. There has been very little additional commercial development. The proposal of Article 11 is not to change the possibility of these uses along the Main Street corridor. Rather, it is to reflect the intention of the Triangle Master Plan. The current zoning that runs through the North Main Street corridor continues into the abutting neighborhoods. However, the current GBD zoning along the side streets is damaging in several respects. To begin with, there is no setback requirement at the sides of the buildings within the district, 0 setback requirements, which results in no mandated side yard buffer, the relief that's required in every other residential zone in Winchester. There's more. In the GBD zones, there's no minimum lot area, no minimum yard requirements, no minimum open area, no minimum green space, and no maximum amount of hardscape, which means increased runoff into the streets during rainstorms. The planning board and the town planner have concluded that this type of zoning is inappropriate for residential streets anywhere, but especially for this neighborhood. Another serious concern with the GBD is that the large-scale projects are all by right. That means that projects can be built up to 45 feet in height, which means extremely tall buildings can be constructed on the side streets where the GBD parcels are located, adjacent to more modest 1- and 2-story private residence. Because a by right means no review requirement, a project of this scale will never be seen by the town planner, the planning board, or the zoning board of appeals prior to construction. Furthermore, through the engineering department, though the engineering department can analyze it for drainage, their concerns are advisory only. They have no authority to impose restrictions on the project, so there's no opportunity to mitigate negative impacts of excessive runoff on the neighborhoods. In reviewing past planning studies, we have observed that in the Triangle Area Master Plan, one of the major goals, as stated, was to promote the redesign of North Main, including safer, more pedestrian-friendly qualities, more green space, and more infrastructure improvements. Unfortunately, these kinds of improvements on the side streets have not taken place. The side streets of North Main are extremely narrow, lacking curbing and curb cuts in multiple locations. They are not handicap accessible and are missing sidewalks in most areas. Most of the pavement is ranked between poor to fair to poor. All of this is documented in the town's road book, which was completed last year. Yet the streets are a major thoroughfare for children walking to Lynch Elementary School, the playing fields and playgrounds, the bike path, and Horn Pond. They are the only routes for drivers headed to Lynch School from the northeast part of town, and the streets are heavily used as cut-throughs to avoid Main Street congestion, particularly during high traffic hours, which also coincides with the morning hours that children are walking to Lynch. These same streets also are used by motorcades to Wildwood Cemetery. The North Main neighborhoods also have taken on the burden of overflow parking for the existing commercial and medical buildings on Main. In the Winchester Road Book, it also noted that the intersections of Water Street, Swanton Street, and Main Street is one of the town's highest risk intersections. Allowing GBD 2 and 3 development on the side streets of North Main Street only compounds all of this infrastructure and safety deficiencies. In the newly adopted Housing Production Plan, a plan for affordable housing, one of the major shortfalls noted is that the town zoning does not require affordable housing in developments outside of the Center Business District, which is downtown Winchester. Therefore, as apartment or condo units are built in place of current housing stock in the North Main area, the increased number of high-end units actually is pushing the town further away from achieving our goals, and which is also mandated by the state under Chapter 40B. In conclusion, this article does not seek to change the uses and focus on the North Main area, but due to the existing general business district's zoning flexibility and limited review, the planning board has concluded that it is inappropriate for this use in integrated parts of the neighborhood. These side streets do not have the infrastructure to sustain the GBD 2 and 3 zoning. We ask that you support the neighborhoods along the north end of Main Street by voting in favor of Article 11. Brian will now go into the technical information.